all speak English because my French is terrible, unfortunately. So I'll be doing my presentations today in English. Sorry, you don't understand me. So it's good to hear some questions on developer tools earlier today. I didn't catch everybody's faces who asked the questions, but if you have any developer tool questions, I'm going to cover some developer tools right now, and if you have any more questions on developer tools, you can ask me. So my name is Matthew Hosani. I work with partners in Northern Europe, and I'm responsible for the developer tools goal within Northern Europe. So basically I talk to partners and I talk to the community about developer tools for Java development. And I'm going to cover Sun's portfolio today. So who am I? I've been at Sun now for probably 10 years. 7 years in my current job, and then 3 years doing some Java development internally at Sun. I'm based out of the UK, in London, and like I said, I work with partners and I work with the developer community across the whole of Northern Europe. Generally what I do is I help the partners come to Sun's platform. I help them tune their application and run best on Sun hardware and Sun software. And as the slide said, I speak at many events, Java One, and other events across Europe. So there was a question earlier about free tools and everything being free. And I think the important thing to understand here is that all of Sun's tools are now free. The reason for that is because there's no use in charging people for developer tools and to be able to access a platform anymore. If you want people to be a part of the community and to help develop Java and help be a part of web tier, enterprise tier, frameworks and things like that, there's no reason saying, well, you have to pay 10,000 euros to start doing that, because nobody's going to do it. So the idea is, give away the tools for free. Everybody can use the tools, they can write great Java, they can participate and share their ideas, and that way, it benefits the community, and it benefits Sun. Because then, people then develop on Java, which is fairly open, works on many OSs, and then people will see, well, hey, Java works great with Solaris, especially if I'm writing a server-side application. They may say, great, I need, 100 machines from Sun, and things like that. So that's why Sun gives away the developer tools for free. It's to allow you to be able to use the tools to participate and to share your ideas and things like that. So there's no hidden agenda, it's just about lowering the barriers so that you guys can participate. So here's the stack of Sun's Java tools. There's one tool that's missing, which is our C, C++, Fortran compilers and so on. That's called Sun Studio. And these are the three Java tools. So we have three main tools. We have the Enterprise Edition here, we have Java Studio Creator, and NetBeans. So I didn't quite hear what Gilles said this morning about Eclipse, but we think right now that NetBeans is as good, if not better than Eclipse. And in regards to sharing communities and openness, NetBeans is fully open. Admittedly, the number of plugins are probably less, but the reason for that is because plugin development on NetBeans has been very difficult. In 1998, when NetBeans was kind of getting going in the community, NetBeans actually had a plugin architecture. But that plugin architecture was quite difficult to use. You had to be a rocket scientist to be able to create a plugin. And so they kind of hid it for a while. And with the success of the Eclipse and the Eclipse plugins, they said, well, you know, we've got this plugin architecture, let's just make it easier for people. Why is it so hard to create a plugin for NetBeans? So that's what they did. And now you can go into NetBeans and you can do file new plugin and create a plugin using the wizard and, you know, obviously your own code. So we have NetBeans as the main IDE. And as you can see, all the tools are built on the NetBeans platform. So there's a distinction there because the NetBeans platform is a robust environment which has all the code written already to do window events, to do property management, to do assistance, and things like that. That all these products can reuse because there's no point in rewriting, you know, assistance. There's no reason to rewrite property management. There's no reason to rewrite window handling and things like that. So we use this layer called the NetBeans platform, and that is open source too, as well as the IDE. And so what we've seen actually is that many people have built on top of the NetBeans platform and written their own application. And if you go to the netbeans.org website, you can see under the partners section all these really cool applications that people have written, whether it be graphing tools, whether it would be sort of management tools and things like that, all written using the NetBeans platform. So starting with the NetBeans, we have the NetBeans IDE, and I'm going to talk about each of the tools. I've got slides on that, but the idea is here that we have three. The NetBeans IDE, Java Studio Creative 2, which is specifically for web tier development, visual web tier development, and Studio Enterprise. Now, Studio Enterprise 8 gives you extra features, but NetBeans, out of the box, without any plugins, just the one small download will give you, you can develop every application. You can develop Java ME applications, you can develop Java SE applications, you can develop web tier applications, and you can develop enterprise applications using the standalone NetBeans IDE. So let's just talk about NetBeans then. It starts with one of the three tools that we have. So NetBeans is open source, it's standards based, there's nothing in it that's proprietary. It's all open and generates AMP projects. So anything you create in NetBeans, you can compile online without any NetBeans libraries. And you can take it to another IDE, you can import the AMP scripts, and you can build it straight away from another IDE. You can even import files from other IDEs, including Eclipse. There's an Eclipse import plugin. There's a JBuilder plugin, and all those things you can use just to import your project directly into standard NetBeans. Some of the other interesting things, most of the things I've mentioned on here are actually pretty unique to NetBeans. You won't find them in Eclipse. Things like application profiling and debugging. So you get what was a project called JFluid. And JFluid allows you to analyze the JVM, the heap, the garbage collector, and things like that, straight from your IDE. So you run your project, you can monitor that application. The other thing you can do is debugging. So you have live debugging, you can put breakpoints in your code, you can put traces, you can put watches, and you can follow stacks, call stacks, and things like that, all from the IDE. The Matisse GUI Designer is a brand new feature in our latest release, NetBeans 5, and this is pretty unique, and I think they've tried to copy it now in Eclipse. Forget the name, maybe some people know. So Matisse is a new GUI designer for or fact lines. And the idea behind Matisse is that you can create a GUI by automatically lining up components. And the reason for doing that is because layout managers in general, if you start talking about flow layout or grid bag layout and all the other type of layout managers, they're not really sort of designed to show you what a real form would look like. If you open up Mozilla and open up the mail there, the forms it gives you are pretty much standard across every application almost. The buttons are indented, certain spacing, the text is lined up in certain areas, the text fields are lined up with the text and things like that. If you try and do that in grid bag layout or grid layout or flow layout, it's very, very difficult. You have to start putting lots of ended lines and indents and things. So what Matisse allows you to do, and I'll give you a demonstration in a minute, is drag and drop your components and visualize how they're going to look before you just hit run. And the beauty of Matisse as well is that once you've created that, if you take it to Mac OS, if you take it to Windows, if you take it to Linux, if you take it to Solaris, it's going to look the same and act the same as a native application. And this is all standard code. There's no magic. There's no, you have to use NetBeans libraries. You have to package up a 10 megabyte library of your application. This is all built into the JVM now, and the layout manager. And so you get this code. So if you're creating, fact line applications or forms and so on, you really want to start having a look at your teeth. So the JUnit testing has become a standard way of testing and creating test suites for applications. Again, we've got a great plugin architecture now, and that's one thing I'm starting to do is working with our partners to create plugins for NetBeans, because they're seeing so much adoption now. People are saying, I can't take it with Eclipse, downloading these plugins and it's getting support and things like that, and we want to use NetBeans because so many people use NetBeans now. How can we create a plugin? As I said, out of the box, you can do ME, SE, and EE development using some great wizards. And we now have, you can now develop Java EE5 applications and also use Java SE6 with NetBeans, a must-have. So the mobility pack. So this is kind of quite a cool tool, I think, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's a very small download. It's a very small download on top of NetBeans, and I think it only runs on Windows and Linux right now. And I'm running Windows here, so I'm probably going to do a demo in a second. And the idea here is that you get